You've been told discipline is about suffering, pushing through pain, powering through resistance. But what if that's exactly why you keep failing? Because here's the truth. Your brain doesn't hate hard work, it hates boredom. And the ninjas knew this centuries ago. They didn't just train harder, they trained smarter. They made discipline feel like a game, like a secret mission, like something so enjoyable it became harder to skip than to show up. This isn't about motivation or forcing yourself to do something you dread. It's about building habits so fun and engaging your brain craves them, even when your body begs for the couch. In this video, you'll learn 5 principles that ancient ninjas used to stay sharp, fast, and ready, even when completely exhausted. By the end, you'll have a system that makes consistency addictive, and discipline so fun, it's nearly impossible to abandon. Let's start with the first tactic used to trick the brain when energy is gone: the shadow game. Ninjas didn't wake up and say, "Time for discipline." They disguised it. They knew the mind resists anything that feels forced, so they turned every routine into a game of shadows. The first rule? Never attack discipline head-on. Sneak up on it. If your body feels tired, don't demand focus. Distract it. They'd break routines into rituals so small and strange, the brain didn't recognize them as effort. Like a ninja sneaks through the night unnoticed, you sneak past resistance by making the habit invisible. Want to train every evening? Don't call it training, call it vanishing practice. Want to write? Call it whisper work. The sillier the name, the better. It disarms your inner critic. It makes the habit feel light, playful, fun. This works because your brain has 2 modes: resistance and curiosity. Most people trigger resistance by making goals sound important, heavy, serious. But ninjas played with curiosity. They built routines that felt like puzzles to solve, not tasks to complete. Their minds stayed alert because their rituals were unusual, unexpected. Want to make your evening habits automatic? Make them weird, make them funny, give them code names. Instead of saying, "I'm going to practice guitar," say, "Decode string vibrations." Instead of journal, say, "Log the shadow movements." Your brain hates discipline, but it loves games. Even elite ninjas relied on stealth, surprise, and play. The trick isn't to force action, it's to make action feel like mischief. Discipline sounds serious, heavy, unforgiving. But for ninjas, playfulness was a weapon. They weren't just warriors, they were masters of misdirection. Infiltrating castles dressed as monks, slipping past guards with tricks and props, creating chaos with absurdity. Not because they didn't take their mission seriously, but because absurdity made them sharper, mentally lighter, unpredictable. That mindset applies to you. The more serious you make your habits, the more pressure you create. And pressure kills consistency. The solution? Micro dares. Instead of saying, "I have to work out," dare yourself to do something absurd. 10 push-ups while reciting your grocery list. Write your goals in pirate voice. Type an email while standing like a flamingo. It's not just silly, it's neurologically smart. Laughter and novelty release dopamine. Dopamine increases focus and motivation. This is why your brain loves games but hates obligation. It craves the unexpected. When discipline becomes a source of delight, not dread, you'll start showing up even when tired. You're not forcing yourself, you're inviting yourself to play. You can even gamify this. Create a discipline deck with random micro dares. Draw one each night. Tonight's writing session? Use only movie quotes for your intro. Workout? Only do exercises that start with B. The sillier, the better. This isn't about reducing the challenge, it's about reducing the friction. When your brain laughs, it learns faster. When it plays, it performs better. That's how ninjas used mischief to stay dangerous, and how you'll start winning through laughter, not grit. Ninjas weren't just fighting enemies they could see. Most of the time, they were preparing for threats that never showed up. That's what made them elite. They didn't train for battles, They trained for invisibility, unpredictability, the unknown. And that's how you need to think about your daily discipline. Because your biggest threat isn't outside, it's internal. It's the mental ambush at 8 p.m. The voice that says, just skip it tonight. You've earned a break. Start fresh tomorrow. That voice is your invisible enemy. The best ninjas created rituals not just for skill, but for mental defense. Little routines that kept their focus sharp and purpose clear, even when no one was watching. You need the same. Build rituals for resistance. Something you do the second doubt shows up. A cold splash of water, lighting a candle, putting on a hoodie. A signal that says, battle mode activated. You can even name your ritual like a ninja mission. Code redline, shadow wake, ghost entry. It gives it identity. Your brain doesn't need motivation, it needs motion. The more you repeat the signal, the more automatic it becomes. Over time, you don't argue with resistance, you just move. These small acts become armor. Quiet, invisible, unshakable. Ninjas trained for the dark, for the doubt. So when the enemy finally came, they were already ready. Train like something is trying to steal your future, because it is. The most legendary ninja strikes weren't flashy, they were invisible. One move, one breath, 1-inch kill. They trained to make every motion count, even in exhaustion. That's the fifth principle of ninja discipline, precision over volume. Because here's what no one tells you. Discipline isn't about how much you do. It's about doing one thing that actually matters, consistently. Most people wait for the perfect window, 2 free hours, full energy, clean space, ideal mood. But that window rarely opens. So they delay, then they disappear. Momentum dies, discipline rots. Ninjas didn't wait. They trained in alleyways, on rooftops, in mud. One skill at a time. A single strike practiced 1,000 ways. That's how you need to treat your evenings. One meaningful move, no matter how small. 5 minutes. One task. A micro strike that keeps your brain trained and your progress alive. Write one paragraph. Make one call. Do one drill. You're not chasing the full win, you're preserving the rhythm. You can even build this into your nightly system. Choose your strike before the day begins. Write it down. No debate later. When the time comes, deliver. Fast, clean, intentional. You're not just doing the thing, you're proving to your brain that even when tired, you act. Every strike sharpens belief. Every small action says, I don't miss. That's how ninjas stayed dangerous, by always doing something that counted. One move, full presence, no hesitation. The deadliest ninja wasn't the loudest. It was the one you never saw coming. Discipline isn't always about showing up in public. In fact, the more private your rituals, the more powerful they become. That's the 6th ninja principle. Disappear to win. Modern culture tells you to share your progress, post it, prove it, perform it. But public discipline often becomes performative. It feeds the ego, not the identity. You start doing it for likes instead of growth. You seek validation instead of transformation. Ninjas didn't need applause, they needed results. Their training was done in silence, alone, in forests, rooftops, shadows. And that's why it worked. They weren't distracted by approval. They were obsessed with mastery. So here's the shift. Make your habits invisible. Your routines, private. Your consistency, silent. Let progress be the proof. Don't talk about your goals. Let your results whisper louder than words. The less noise you make, the harder it is to break. Public declarations create pressure. Private rituals create power. You can even create a shadow log, a journal no one sees, where you track only what you do, not how you feel. No fluff, no drama, just moves. Like a mission report. Objective, execution, result. Quiet, honest, unstoppable. Discipline that's built in the dark is harder to destroy in the light, because it's real. It's yours. That's the ninja path. Invisible effort, visible transformation. By now, you've seen how discipline doesn't have to be heavy, it doesn't have to be painful, and it definitely doesn't have to be boring. Ninjas didn't use discipline to suffer, they used it to sharpen. They layered stealth, play, ritual, precision, and silence into something addictive, something sustainable. And now, so can you. Because when you combine these 5 principles, something wild happens. The shadow game removes resistance. The laughing blade adds dopamine. The invisible enemy creates urgency. The 1-inch kill builds momentum. And the disappearing act locks it in with identity. The less you push, the more you flow. The less you force, the more you crave. Discipline becomes something you look forward to, not because it's easy, but because it's yours, designed for your energy, your mindset, your life. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be consistent in a way that feels good enough to repeat. That's how ninjas lasted years in secrecy. They made the mission feel natural. You don't need more motivation. You need a system that makes discipline hard to skip. That makes repetition feel rewarding. That makes you forget you're being consistent because you're too busy enjoying the process. So don't aim for dramatic change tomorrow. Aim for stealth evolution, the kind that builds quietly, layer by layer, until your old habits can't find you anymore. You're not chasing discipline, you're becoming it. You don't need to force your way to consistency. You don't need more guilt, more pressure, more noise. You need smarter tools, stealthier moves, a mindset that turns routine into ritual and repetition into play. That's what the ninjas mastered. And now you've got their blueprint. So here's your mission. Start tonight. Don't wait for energy. Don't wait for motivation. Pick one principle, one tiny move, one ritual you can enjoy. Laugh while doing it. Hide it if you want to. Name it something ridiculous. But do it. Because discipline isn't something you grind. It's something you craft, like a blade, like a legend. And every night you show up, you sharpen it. If this video helped you think differently about discipline, hit the like button and subscribe. There's more coming. Tools, ideas, systems, all designed to help you build quietly, like a ninja. Until next time, stay sharp, stay sneaky, and keep showing up.